Oh, it's always really exciting when someone's passionate about a subject and being able to get others on board and really getting people behind you as well. Question in relation to that would be how do you educate the board in cyber risks and threats and get them interested in what's happening?
So yeah, that's a really interesting one because you don't want to be kind of the leading with fear. So I really try and kind of, so I think I really genuinely try and talk about the positives as much as possible first. So how, again, I've kind of repeat myself a little bit, but how we want to be a trusted brand and lead with trust and lead with being that safe pair of hands and being resilient, and how it, if we do all of these things, we get the regulatory requirements and we get the protections. Obviously, you've got, if you're in a regulated industry, you've got a whole bunch of regulations you've got to meet that kind of help a bit, because it's like, hey, we've got to do all these things, otherwise we can't trade. So, excuse me. So I think that's, being regulated does help to some extent, although you can be in that kind of terrible kind of tick box scenario where people sort of think if you tick the boxes you're secure, whereas I try and have the so compliance doesn't equal security, but good security will probably give you compliance with most things because you're doing the right things. And obviously you can talk about some things when stuff makes the news. I think it's often one of the things you do in the security team is knock up a quick paper on something, when there's been a log4j or something else, or Lazarus is in the news or whatever else, because they'll ask about it anyway. So you can kind of use some of those without walking into the board meeting going, hey, there's all this bad stuff. Share with your business and your exec and people, this has happened. Does it impact us? What could the impacts be? Why doesn't it impact us? Because we've got these things in place, or why is it a risk for us? And what are we doing about it? So you can kind of educate them on those kind of things in the background without having to come into a board meeting and go, the world's on fire, there's always breaches. So try and do that as a kind of a background thing, rather than lead your presentation with it, and lead your presentations with the positives of, hey, we've got gaps, but we've got a way to fix it. And I think taking people on that journey is good as well. So it's really easy to set I think you have to be quite careful with boards and exec in terms of how you bring stuff across. Because if you come in and say, especially if you're new in role, there's all these massive gaps, all these problems, then you may set the world on fire and they're going to run around like, oh, we need to fix all of this. Why isn't this being done? And you end up inadvertently throwing other people under the bus for it being in a bad place or whatever. Where if you kind of take them on the journey of, hey, maybe if you're a news company, hey, with this size company at this age, and we've got some really good stuff in place, hopefully, and there are some gaps, but that's what you'd expect from a company of our age and size. But don't worry, because not only are they expected and nothing surprised me, but here's our plan to remediate those. So what I need from yourselves is support to deliver this plan that gets us to the next level of security or next level of maturity, whatever you want to call it. So you kind of take them through that journey, rather than just kind of going, there's loads of problems.
Yeah.
So
Really,
you have a much more kind of hope that hopefully gives them the kind of, they don't panic, and you can kind of preempt your presentation with, I'm going to take you through this journey, and we do have some challenges, but we're in exactly the kind of place I'd expect us to be in, and we do have a plan. So don't panic as I take you through the presentation.
I like how you continuously are educating, and especially when something happens in the market, you can relate it back to your position as well. I think that's extremely powerful.
Well, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. We will get this out to the audience as soon as possible. And this will all go towards our insight report that we are building around risk resilience and reputation, CISO and the board. But a massive thank you to Kevin for joining us and giving his perspective and his experience and knowledge. So appreciate the time, Kevin. And thank you for Jody for running the session.